Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ricardo Bosi, National Leader of Australia One, and welcome to this special interview, special return guest by popular demand. The only person more popular than Sarah. This man is too sweet to be sour. He's the man that we need to hear what he's got to say. He doesn't tell us what we need to hear. He tells us what we need to hear the way we need to hear it. So without further ado, except with one short content warning. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourself for unconventional and thought-provoking content. We strongly advise viewer discretion, as the material may evoke intense emotions or challenge established perspectives. So, with that sort of warning, who else could it be but John Wilson? John, welcome back.
Thank you, Brother Ricardo. Thank you for this invitation to come and speak to your audience. It's always a great pleasure. Thank you very, very much. Brother, where would you like to start? There's so many rabbit holes. I can't promise you I can crawl down too many more. I mean, I'm getting too overweight, so if I crawl down too many more rabbit holes, I may not get back. Where would you like to start in this conversation?
Well, before we start, let's kick off about the one country, one people, one flag rally. Thank you so much for making your way down to Sydney from Queensland. Very much appreciated. I was off on the side doing interviews, and I heard the crowd roar at one point, and I figured, who the hell's talking? It was John Wilson stirring up the crowd, as is his wont. So thanks for turning up, mate. That was fantastic.
Look, it was my pleasure, and I get a great kick out of attending and supporting the A1 family that's out there. They are the most educated group of activists that I've run across here in Australia, and they're also the most disciplined, and they're most fun. I mean, they're a ton of fun to be around. So it was my pleasure to come down. Lots of things needed to be said. We got through some of it. Still other things that needed to be said, but it was a great event. Great event. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Well, here's the opportunity. Let's clear the air, because I know there's a lot been going on in your world. So bring us up to date. Give us your opinion, and as usual, I'll just sit back. I'll let you shoot, and if there's anything that I think we need to expand upon, I'll jump in. But other than that, mate, the floor is yours. Away you go.
Well, look, thank you, Rick. Look, I'd like to start off along these lines, if I may. Look, the question that I want to pose to everyone out there: in an information war, can we agree we're at war? Can we agree the type of war? It's an information war. Can we agree it's a fifth generational psychological war? These are things that all of us should simply be able to agree on, not argue over, and get some context about what we are dealing with and how we're going to make our way through this war front. Okay. Now, the power in an information war, ask yourself, in an information war, who holds all the power? Who holds all the information? Now, I want to refer to an upload that ran for maybe 10 minutes that John McAfee put up a while back now. Now, we all know McAfee's not dead. It's reported that he is, but I don't believe that he is, along with a number of other people that I don't believe are dead. But John McAfee, and I couldn't agree more, he says that the people up at the top, the real senior power brokers way up the top, are not the guardians of information. That those people who are the guardians of the information are a very thin layer in the middle ranks, okay? And as we know, and let me try and explain it this way, you have silos of information all around the world. We have scientific silos, military silos, political silos, but they're all silos up and down. And you have a gatekeeper at the top of each one of those silos. And that gatekeeper, they are the real holders, the real guardians of the information. And in fact, they are the most powerful people within an information war. McAfee goes on and he talks about the Praetorian Guard in Rome when he had, I think it was Emperor Tiberius, who every 10, on average, 10 or 12 years, a Roman emperor would be assassinated. And then it would be a huge, the implications would be huge for the Roman Empire when the emperor got assassinated. So in order to protect themselves against that, the Praetorian Guard used to surround the emperor, and they were the ones that no one got to see the emperor. No one got to talk to the emperor. They were Rome itself. They were the ones that made up the rules as to what was good and what was not good for Rome, not the emperor. And what we've now seen in this war, Rick, is we've seen a lot of the big top knobs knocked off. We're the people out there, and I know your A1 people know this and can see this. They know there's been arrests. They've known the top rungs have all been dealt with. Okay, others may not, but if people still believe Joe Biden is governing America, then I've got a story bridge here in Brisbane to sell you. Okay, it's obviously it's not Joe Biden. It's obviously an actor. Okay, but you have the top layers gone. It's been dealt with. We're now coming down to the next layer. Those are the deep state or the Praetorian Guard. And these people are the ones that are the gatekeepers for all of this information in an information war. Now, the people with the real power in an information war, Rick, are the storytellers, okay? Now, I can tell you, I know most people are never going to sit down and read, 12 or 15 or 20,000 pages of military regulations and military writings and procedures and so on that Derek Johnson has articulated. Okay, Derek is a storyteller. Derek is able to read in great detail all of that information, digest it, make sense of it, and then tell us the story. And that people like Derek Johnson are very, very important, very powerful people in a information war. And that's really needs to be understood. The gatekeepers who holds this information, and then as information is released, as it comes into our sight and into our sound in our world, the ones that make sense of it all, the ones who can join the dots and articulate it, are the storytellers, and they are very, very key positions. I say this very deliberately, Rick, is because unless we unlock those positions, unless we take custody of those positions, then deep state operatives and others who do not have our best interest at heart are going to continue to maintain and hold these positions, and they are going to significantly affect us going forward. Now, Rick, again, I'm on the public record as having said this. I say we've won the war. I say the military, President Trump, we've given everyone absolute, irrefutable proof. President Trump is the commander-in-chief. The American military are conducting a full-scale operation and war against these satanic forces, and we are overwhelmingly winning it. They are in a tailspin. They can't get out. Their options are evaporating, and their world is coming down. I say we have now won the war, okay, for humanity. That does not mean the war has stopped raging around us. It is still raging around us, but we have won it because they cannot possibly win it from here. Okay, so I've gone on record to that effect. Now, in order for us to move forward, Rick, we need to basically do this, in my view. Our enemies have thrown everything at us. We've withstood it. We have withstood it. We have weathered the assault. We are now, the crimes have all now been committed. We now have all the evidence of the crimes being committed. We now need a military intervention now, because there is no other way we're going to get justice. No other way bar the military. Every one of our institutions are riddled with corruption. We can never get justice for the crimes that they have committed against all of Australians, right, unless we have a military intervention. Now, the military then give us the justice that we need, and so that we can then have closure and we can then move on, okay? That's the way I still see it, doing the rebuild. Now, we can't rebuild. We cannot rebuild until we have justice. We cannot rebuild. We want to rebuild. Many people want to rebuild. I can see it out there, okay? And I'm one of them. I want to rebuild. But none of us can move on until we have justice and we have closure. Our body count is too high. It's too high. The sacrifices made have been too great. The betrayals that we have endured are just in scale are just too big. We have to have closure to all of that before we can close and move on and rebuild. Okay. Now, when we go on to rebuild, the fear that I have is that we are going to go straight back, and we are going to rebuild the same monstrosities, the same prison planet, the same structures that we've just spent 5 years fighting tooth and nail against to get rid of. Okay? That's my greatest fear. I mean, Rick, look, very soon, I don't know whether Australians understand this or not, but very soon, this country and all of the population is going to be given a gift as a free country. We're going to get our sovereignty back. We're going to get our safety, our security. We're going to get our stolen wealth. We're going to get medical cures. We're going to get all of these things that we should have had since the day we were born. We're going to be given this, okay? And my fear is we're not going to be ready to receive this gift. My fear is we're going to be like a 15-year-old child who's given a brand new Ferrari for Christmas. And what we do is we jump straight in that Ferrari and off we go. And next thing you know, we're involved in a 10-car smash at the end of our driveway. That's what I fear. I fear that if we aren't ready for this, if we aren't ready to receive this gift from God and from the global military people who are the real heroes here, the real heroes in this war, and we owe them so much that we can never say enough thank yous to them. But we're going to receive this gift, and we're not going to be ready for it. And I'm worried that we're going to screw this up. Desperately worried. Now, I say this because of infiltration. I say it because we have deep state operatives in their hundreds, all working behind the scenes, all assuming roles as the storytellers, as the gatekeepers, and they are going to then seize upon these critical roles, and then they are going to re-trap us into more control systems. They are going to suffocate so that our nation does not realise its potential. And I'm very, very worried. I can already see these gatekeepers in the freedom movement and in the truther movement all over the place now. And what they are doing is prepping and getting ready to rebuild the same rotten institutions in this country that all the rest of us are working our asses off to dismantle and get rid of, okay? Now, I make this point, Rick. You can't fix this stuff. You cannot fix these police forces. You can't. All these police forces all around Australia are rotten to the core, rotten, corrupt, and cannot be fixed. They got massive drug problems. They have massive bloody violence in their ranks. They have massive bloody, domestic violence issues themselves. You are looking at a dysfunctional police force, whether it's Queensland, whether it's New South Wales, Victoria, or all the rest of them. They are dysfunctional. They are right now training Chinese coppers. So we have Chi-Com coppers in Australia that are, what the hell? They're being trained by these police forces. We can't fix this. We have to sack a lot of them. They've all got to go, and they've got to be replaced with sheriffs, deputies, and a local militia elected from us. And inside the law enforcement, those coppers that know, that are decent, those few that are left, know that every single word I'm saying is true. It's true. You can't fix it. They've all got to go. The courts can't be fixed. None of them have any validity. None of them have any legitimacy. They've all got to go. All the common law people, all the trial by jury, we all know it. We all know it. The body politic, the federal, the state, the local, none of them are legitimate. All of them can't be reformed. They all have to be white, Rick. And on we go. Institution after institution and after institution are rotten, criminal, in the main, compromised pedophiles. Okay? That's what we have governing us. These are the institutions of this country, and they can't be toyed with. They've got to be wiped clean. Now, we've got people inside of this fucking freedom movement and inside of this bloody truth movement who are telling us, yes, we can reform them. Yes, we can fix them. We can put a Band-Aid on them. Oh, we shouldn't. We got to give them a go. And they are mass murderers. They are mass murderers. These institutions, all in coordination, all in cooperation with other satanic forces in Big Pharma, have mass murdered Australians. How do you fix that? How? There's only one way, and that's a hemp rope and a a big long jail sentence. That's the only fix you can get in this country for these crimes. Nothing else meets and matches the crimes that are being committed. And anyone side this freedom movement who's advocating for anything less, you've got to ask yourself serious questions. And we have them. We have them right now. We've got ex-cops there saying, the police need to understand that, they can only do their job, as long as us, as long as we allow them, and they've got to be like fucking bullshit. Like bullshit. You bastards held our throats to the knife while they were cutting our throats. You go down for that. You've committed a genocide. Thousands and thousands of my countrymen have been murdered. Thousands of them. And for that, you're going to be held accountable. Every single one of you law enforcement officers. Every single one of you goes. We've broken the social contract here, Rick. There is no social contract. They've committed the crimes. The evidence is overwhelming. They are still committing these crimes. They have no intention to backing off. They have no intention of ever having any sort of, saying sorry, any of that. They are doubling down and tripling down. And there's only one answer to that. If you're going to be fair on our body count, if you're going to be fair, because if you're not going to hold these people to account, then no justice can be done for those dead and injured. Sorry, Rick. So we have big, big challenges in the nation, Rick. Big challenges. And we can't move on. We can't move on until we've had closure. We can't get closure until we have military intervention. We have to have military tribunals in Give them a half a day. That's the charge. That's the evidence. How do you plead? State your defence. Right, you're guilty. Out the back. And then fucking hang them. Hang them.
Just
Nothing
on that,
else is going to suffice. Nothing. Nothing. I want to move on, Rick. I want to move on. Look.
Hang on, let me just jump in. Can I just jump in really quickly on the military tribunals? Because this is going to send a shiver up the spine of all the civilians out there. Because they're going to say, well, we're not subject to military tribunals. Really? Well, guess what, folks? I'll be doing up next week when we're on the Green Room, I'll be doing an update on what is the manual for court martials in the United States. Now, we spoke about the law of war, and we told people how dependent upon the rule of law every white hat operation was, as it should be. But guess what they haven't been talking about, and it's coming out now. We've put it on our social media feed, but I'll be summarizing it for the people next Tuesday. So tune into next Tuesday's Green Room. But the short version of this is the manual for court martials has been lawfully amended. Now get this, folks, lawfully amended in such a way that civilians can now be charged. It's all lawful, and we'll go through that. But what that means is all you civvies out there that think you're not subject to military law, think again. Guess again, sunshine. You'll be for the high jump. And as you said, the tribunals will be there. The evidence is there. There's over 500,000 sealed indictments. And each indictment could hold up to 90 different names. And they are going through them one by one. They're hearing the charge, and they're executing them. Now, you mentioned something else. The people need to see justice. They are going to see it. This is going to happen next year. The tribunals will be on it next year. They will see what they deserve to see. They will see the justice is being meted out according to law. So every civilian out there, now the next defence they'll say is, but we're Australian. Ha! Welcome to the new world, Australia. Welcome to the new world. So pay very careful attention. Everybody, every copper. Well, let's go through the list. Every politician, every judge, every bureaucrat, every general, admiral, air marshal, every copper, every unionist, every big business, every academic, everybody in the media, every church, synagogue, mosque, lodge, and temple. Watch them, because you're now subject to military law, courts martial, and we'll give you the rundown next Tuesday. So just giving a bit of a boost to the long-suffering people of Australia, and anybody in Australia who's been involved in this. You're for the high jump, folks. Nothing to do with me. Watch this space. You can go on now, John, if you want.
Thank you, Rick, and you're spot on. You're spot on, mate. Anyone that thinks they're going to get away with this, mate, they are dreaming. Look, Rick, look. Law enforcement, right, along with big tech, right, have spent years and years and years installing in the bits and pieces, mate, okay, a watertight surveillance of the entire Australian population. They've done the same in Europe, the same in America, and on it goes. They've put in place airtight surveillance, okay, to be used against us. Well, guess what's happened? Guess what's happened, mate? Our people now have in their custody all of that infrastructure. So the surveillance state that was being used against us is now being applied to all of them. They are no longer watching us. They are no longer surveilling us. It is they themselves that are under surveillance. All their black operations, all their movements, all their associations, every single piece of metadata is everything that goes through the Five Eyes veins. All of it goes to the NSA, to Admiral Mike Rogers, who used to be at that top. All of it used to go through the General Michael Flynn with the Defense Intelligence Agency. All of it now sits at Trump's feet and his law enforcement military machine. Every single fraction of it. They have it all. They have it all, Rick. Okay.
And just in answer to the people.
That's where they've now got to understand. They're finished. They're finished. They are going to be held accountable, unlike any other war in the history of mankind. In this war, every single one of their chicken necks is now on the block, and they'll rat each other out. You watch them. They will rat each other out. They ain't watching Como John. We're now watching these bastards. What a hoot. What a hoot.
No,
I never thought I'd see the day. Sorry, Rick, over to you.
No, you're right, because one more thing for the folks back at home, just to cheer them up and to explain why it's taken so long. And I know everyone's been complaining, why is it taking so long? We've done our best to explain it. But one of the key parts to this was the changes to the manual for courts martial. When they were put in place, any crimes that preceded the changes, they couldn't be charged. The bad guys could not be charged retrospectively, because the manual for court martials had been adjusted by various presidents to consistently protect the crooked people. So they couldn't be charged. So Donald Trump and the White Hats adjusted the manual for court martials, but they couldn't retrospectively charge them for crimes before the amendments. So they had to allow them to commit all those crimes all over again. And as John just said, they have it all. So the crimes had to be recommitted by the same people under new rules of the new manual for court martial, and that includes civilians. So, ladies and gentlemen, in ASIO and ACES and everywhere else, you think you're getting away scot-free. The coppers, you think you're getting away scot-free. The bureaucrats, you think you're getting out of this. Media, you think you're getting out of it, and it's all lawful, folks. It is all lawful. So just letting you know, that's why it took so long. One of the reasons, the changes to the manual for court martials, and they had to allow these criminals to recommit the crimes, because you can't be charged retrospectively. They had to recommit the crimes, and as John said, and as we've heard 100 times, they have it all. Okay, back to you, John.
Look, Ricardo, the day I now have no fear about the criminals and the cartels and these people being held accountable, right? I'm over that, any concerns held whatsoever. They're all going to go down. And using the organised crime laws, the RICO laws, anyone that's been part of that crime syndicate, all they've got to do for you cops, I'll tell you how you're going to get necked. All they've got to do is declare the New South Wales Police Force a criminal syndicate. That's it. And anyone inside that's got any fingerprint in any way to any crime that the New South Wales Police Force have committed goes down. All of this will go down. That's all they've got to do. And the qualification of being a crime syndicate is easy. They just need a few crimes so they can show consistency. As long as the crimes are committed across state borders, they can show that easily qualifies. Then they can easily come up in one hit, and say the New South Wales Police Force is a crime syndicate, a crime family, and so therefore any crimes committed by that force, anyone with their fingerprints on it, is all guilty of the same crimes. This is going to be biblical. What a takedown. What a takedown. And law enforcement, your secret societies, your secret handshakes, your secret oaths are going to mean jack shit by the time these Marines get through with you. You ain't going to know what hit you. You will squeal like a fax machine. It's coming. It's coming, everybody. Now, again, the danger that we are in is ourselves. If we clean this shithole up, we get given the greatest gift we could ever be given. And if we're not ready for it, we're going to start rebuilding the same shit that we got ourselves out of. You understand? I mean, we are going to be given like a 15-year-old kid. We're going to be given a brand new Ferrari. And what are we going to do if we're not ready? We're going to jump in it. We're going to redline it. And by the time we hit the end of the street, we're going to total the car. And this time, mate, there's going to be no second chances. We ain't going to get this chance again, ladies and gentlemen. And to be ready for this, it's tough going. Why? Because we got a whole nation of traumatized people. Most people don't even know it. We have been flogged. We've been locked down. We've been denied access to family. We've been barraged, marginalized, shat on, every which way we can, okay? And we have a whole nation of traumatized people who are now being asked and called upon to make some big decisions. And I hope they can make it. I hope they can come to terms with this. I hope they're ready for this gift, because we are never going to get it again. And if we get given back our sovereignty and our safety and all of our stolen wealth and everything, there's enough for everybody. There's enough coming where none of us, we're going to be moving to a world of abundance, everybody. From a world of shortage, a world of bloody starvation, we're going to be moving into a world of abundance. There's no need for us to fight. There's no need for us to argue. We cannot possibly consume ourselves what's coming, okay? We just need to be ready for it, psychologically prepared in our hearts and our soul to receive this gift from God and from the military, so that we don't squander this opportunity. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the infiltrators inside of our movement. I'm worried about these lying, bloody bastards, mate, who are now occupying the storyteller roles, the gatekeepers. These roles are very important. Australia was built with guns, dogs, and storytelling around campfires. That's how we built this fucking nation. And that's how we're going to rebuild it, Rick. We're going to need our storytellers. We're going to need our Banjo Pattersons. We're going to need our Henry Lawsons. We're going to need the great iconic storytellers that we have, the Ron Barassis and all the rest of these people were the fabric of our country, and they helped us express ourselves, and we're going to need them. So for you, Story, the reason why we're in such trouble now is we've forgotten our story. We've forgotten who we are. We don't know who we are anymore. And now, what is the common denominator happening in Australia right now? It's being ripped to pieces, ripped to pieces. You've had Albo and all the bloody, the Voice bullshit. What was that meant to do? Split the country and rip it apart between black and white. We now have others like this bloody pissants from the Australia Project. They're trying to do the same thing, but they're trying to make it regional. So we got all these regional bloody landlords, these black fellas. God knows who they are, but they're trying to do it on a regional. Now we got these Palestinians and these fucking Israelis and all these other tribal bastards out there trying to rip our country apart along bloody ethnic lines. This country is under attack. They're trying to rip it, the fabric of it. They're trying to destroy this country as a nation and reduce it to real estate. They're trying to rip all of us to pieces. This is the driving, and we've got to belt back. We've got to stop them, Rick. We cannot allow our nation to be divided. We have to. We are a great nation, the best in this world. We've got the best days coming. This is unbelievable opportunities, but we cannot allow the fabric of our society to be ripped to pieces by these bastards. You got to remember, not only do they want to rip this country to pieces, they wanted to murder millions of us. Millions. Look at the Deagle report. Millions they wanted to murder. How the fucking hell am I supposed to have closure? get on and move when I'm living side by side. People in this country that want to murder, that collaborated and wanted to murder millions of my countrymen. How am I supposed to get over that? Hey? And I'm supposed to play nice in the sandbox. I'm supposed to be nice and don't swear. Fucking Jesus. This is diabolical. Diabolical. We need closure, and I ain't going to get closure till every one of these scumbags are strung up with a hemp rope off a bloody gum tree. Bring on the military. I want closure. I want closure. Let's clean these fucking Marxist, globalist pissheads out. All of them have to go down. And every one that cooperated, every one of them that collaborated, they all go down. And let's take back this country. Let's get our mojo. Let's get our story. What's our story? The only way forward from here, we got to push past these gatekeepers, Rick. We got to push past them. It's easy. All of us, all of those people that are not aligned, that just want to be free, all of us have got to come together in a common sense of purpose. That's it. You don't have to join anything. You don't have to swear. You don't have to bloody... All we've got to do is to have a common sense of purpose, and that's out there. Sovereignty, surely that's common to all of us. Safety of all of our citizens, all of our people, surely that's not too hard. I mean, voter honesty, clear and fair elections, transparency, surely we can agree to that. Surely we can agree on a heap of bloody Beijing, but you try it. You try going out in the freedom movement. You try going out in the truth movement, and you try getting agreement. You can't get it. Why? Because the gatekeepers won't allow it. They don't want unity. They don't want us to find our story and to tell our story. We've got the greatest story to be told in this fucking world, Rick. We have a beautiful country here. A fantastically wealthy country. I've done the numbers. If you divide the square kilometres in area versus the 26 million population, for every man, woman and child, there's over 70 acres of land. For every man, woman and child, over 70 acres each. Surely we don't have to argue. Surely we can get along. There's enough for all of us here, Rick. Enough for all of us. All we got to do is take it. Take it. That's it. Turn our backs on this matrix and take what's rightfully ours. That's all we got to do. Now, I'll tell you a story. I know people are tired. I know they're tired and worn out. I was in Westbrook, one of the worst institutions, the worst institution in this nation. 5.5 years I spent locked up in what can be only described as hell on earth. Now, I had to get part of my job. I had to bring the cattle back in out of the paddock, right? Every night I had to go and get them back in and bring them to safety. Because if they were left out in the paddock, the wild dogs would get to them. The dingoes would get to them. The foxes and all the rest of it. So when I used to go out there to bring back these cattle, sometimes you'd have a cow that would go down. They wouldn't get up. And if I didn't get that cow back to safety, I would have the shit beat right out of me by these prison screws, mate. It was not fun. It was not fun. And I used to yank and yank and yank. You think you could get these cows up? You know what I used to do, Rick? I'd go and grab handfuls of dry grass, and I'd push it underneath the cow. And then I used to have a match, because I used to get dumpers and have a smoke, and I had a match. And I'd light this match and I'd set the fucking grass on fire, mate. And I'd be yanking. And these cows, mate, would have the smoke would start coming up and the fire would be catching, mate. And I'd say, you're going to get up, cow, or if you don't, you're going to get barbecued on the ground. And always they would get up, and I'd drag them back home for safety. Listen, you don't know what you're capable of doing, ladies and gentlemen, until you've got a fire underneath you. Come on, John's not here to sweet talk you. I'm here to light a fucking fire under all ears. You are capable of so much more, but you've got to want it. You've got to want it. And if you don't want it, then I'm going to stick a fire under your fucking asses to make you deliver. Get up, Australia. Get up and let's take this country back. I don't want the good guys to give it back. I don't want this country to be handed. I don't want to be denied my right to take it off them, to take back what's fucking mine since birth. I want it. Don't give it to me. I'm ready to take it back. Join me. Come on. Turn your back on the matrix and let's take our fucking country back. Thank you, Rick.
Oh, John. Brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for telling us what we had to hear, the way we had to hear it. Man, oh man, ladies and gentlemen, you just saw one of the greatest political speeches in Australian history. And I've been diving through the speeches and it's 9 parts nonsense, but you got it straight, you got it fair. That's the way we've got to go.
I'm no longer fighting this war, Rick. I'm no longer fighting this war to get my life back from February of 2020. No way. No way. I'm fighting this war for all the marbles. All the marbles. Klaus Schwab, him and the World Economic Forum, they put the bet on the table. They said it's winner take all. We're in a winner take all war. Whoever wins takes all. Well, guess fucking what, baby? We've won it. We've won it. And now I want it all. I want everything. I want the life that I should have had since the day I was born. I don't want my life back from 2020. I'm a different man, Rick. I'm no longer the man I was. I'm pissed. I'm angry. Yes. But I'll tell you what, I know what's mine and I want it back. All of us should be doing it. All of us should be taking it.
And that's what's going to happen, I think, my good friend. That's going to happen. They're going to get something that they'd never imagined. You said it. The greatest gift. And it galls me to think that somebody has to give it to us. It galls me. And I'll tell you what, I've lived and worked with enough diggers to know that the diggers from the First War and the Second War and the Korean War and the Malayan Emergency and the Vietnam War that have passed on, they'd be looking at us, shaking their heads in disbelief, saying, what the hell did I fight for? What's happened to you people?
Where's my notes?
Mate, have we got any more or are we done for the day?
Look, Rick, I just think people need to understand where we're up to in this war. We've won it. We've won it. We've got to take the garbage out. We've got to take the garbage out. We've got to tell these fucking, all these tribal chiefs from these bloody, ethnic group and stuff, fuck off, piss off. You ain't ripping this country apart. We're going to tell all these Marxist abos. We're going to tell all these other bloody globalists. No way, mate. We're a nation. We're a nation. We haven't forgotten our history. You quoted bloody Erwin Rommel yesterday, Rick. You quoted. Well, let me quote, at the risk of being called a Nazi, let me just give you a little quote from Erwin Rommel about how he used to build an army. Rommel said this. He said that men are basically smart or dumb, lazy or ambitious. That's what he said. He said the dumb and the ambitious ones are dangerous. I get rid of them. He says the dumb and lazy ones I give mundane duties to. The smart and ambitious ones I put on my staff. You get me? Well, right now, mate, we've got a lot of dumb, lazy gatekeepers out there that are occupying positions of power, and they're going to bring this country down, mate. They're going to bring it down. Mate, the only ones that can fix this, the only ones are the people out there, the people, our audience, the people out there. You cannot get sucked into this again. You're going to be gifted something, mate. you're going to be gifted. Please, please live up to it. Live up to this gift. Be ready to receive it. And don't let these piss ants, mate, these fucking retards, mate, talk you down and talk this gift down. It's coming from God. I tell you, I don't like these people, Rick, for this reason. It's called stolen valor. Stolen valor. You get me? In the same way, you get someone that puts on a false war medal, a false uniform, and goes marching in an Anzac parade. They need to be hauled off and fucking flogged. You dare do that in front of me. And this freedom movement has got a whole lot of gatekeepers that can only be described as stolen valor. They are getting valor. They don't deserve it. They've done nothing. They've never made it. They've risked nothing. You get me? And they, my friend, are not going to get past me. I ain't going to let them. I ain't going to shut up. Thanks, Rick. I'm over and
out. John Wilson, the Como, man of God, speaking with the righteousness of a man who knows exactly who he is and what he wants to get on. Well done, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been privileged to see an extraordinary moment in Australian political history, and I don't say that lightly. I mean it quite sincerely. This is a man that's fought fights all his bloody life, and he's been on the wrong side and the right side, like all of us. There's only one side to be on now, and that's the Australian people's side. That's it. This is our country, nobody else's. And as John says, we're going for the whole bag of marbles. We want everything. And I tell you what, to echo John's statements, we can do it. We don't have to wait for somebody to give it to us. We had over 2 million people in Canberra. 2 million people. And by John's reckoning, the largest political gathering in Australian political history. And that's a very conservative estimate because, as you know, the ACT police, the Fed Pulse said 1.4 million additional vehicles entered the ACT that weekend, which means conservatively it's 2 million people, and it's got to be more than that.
Yep.
We've done it before, we can do it again. We've done it before, we can do it again. We've done it before, we can do it again. We can win this. We've got what it takes to win it. We've got it, folks. So when the call goes out, you make the effort. Make the effort to be there. John, any last word?
Rick, before you go, I want to talk very quickly about common law, right? Okay. Listen, there's a bunch of these common law people up on the Gold Coast where I am. They're working their asses off. They're getting belted and pushed and set up by media, cops and courts, but they are just relentless. No one knows what they're doing. I am going to push these people. I'm going to meet with them, and we're going to start getting video footage, testimony of what's happening inside of these courts with these cops, and I'm going to publish it. And I would urge everyone out there, and I'd urge you, Rick, if I can get this information and get this footage and get this testimony, please get it out there. The only thing holding these courts up is a fragile piece of confidence. Again, we have no social contract, everyone. It's been smashed. There's no social contract in place. It's dog eat dog, okay? Now, if we want to bring this show to an end quicker, we must attack that confidence. We've got to show people that they should not have confidence in these courts and these cops and in the body politic. And I intend that we're going to start a new channel. We're going to get it out there. I'm meeting with them, I'm talking to them, and I'm going to work with them. But I'd urge everyone, if I can get this stuff going, share it out there. Share it out there. These common law people, mate, off their own backs, are going into court cases and helping complete strangers. I mean, seriously. Listen, I've told them they have no solution. Common law is not the solution. But in the short term, it's a fantastic example of showing the public on how to stand up against the machine. Okay, and they deserve our support at least for that. They are clagging up these courts. They are driving them insane, and they deserve our support, and I intend to give it to them. Thank you, Rick. I needed to get that out before I left.
No, not a problem, mate. We'll do it. We'll back the common law people. Like we've been saying for a long time, they can't agree the colour of an orange, but by God, they're teaching a lot of people how to think about their sovereignty and where it comes from, and that's
I would.
invaluable, mate.
I
So
would.
yeah, we will back them. We will share the information. You get it out, we'll run it. No problem at all.
Give me a little bit, Brother Rick, and I'm going to give you some meat and potatoes with these guys, okay? Anyway,
Brilliant.
that's it for me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. It's just an absolute privilege to see John Wilson in full flight. My God. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Oh, I wish I could have seen you in the old days, but at least I'm seeing you now. So well done, mate. Thank you and I mean, it's a genuine honor and privilege to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing one of the great characters of Australian political life. And he's not going towards the end whimpering. He's going out with a fist in the air and a curse word in his throat. And he's going to take the bastards down, and we're going to be right alongside with him. So, ladies and gentlemen, John, thank you one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week on the Green Room.
Much love.